a campaign effort to dupe the FBI, and the FBI fell for it. That's how the infamous Steele dossier scandal is being described. Today, FBI Director Christopher Wray faces the House Intelligence Committee.
The committee told Wray to come prepared to discuss matters related to Special Counsel John Durham's indictments of 3 people in his investigation. So will there be more indictments? And if so, how high up? Dale Hurd has the story.
The Russian analyst who helped create the Steele dossier pled not guilty to charges he repeatedly lied to the FBI. Igor Danchenko was the main source in former British spy Christopher Steele's now discredited dossier on Donald Trump's alleged ties to the Russians. Special Counsel John Durham has already indicted Michael Sussmann, a lawyer who worked for the Clinton campaign. Durham also secured a conviction against former FBI lawyer Kevin Kleinsmith. He altered an email used to obtain a FISA warrant to spy on then-Trump campaign foreign policy advisor Carter Page, claiming Page was a Russian agent. The claim was false. Who might be Durham's next targets? And how far up the ladder at the FBI or the Clinton campaign could the indictments go? Americans are used to these kinds of investigations never really going very far and not catching a big fish. But this time, it may be different. Someone who thinks many more indictments are coming is the former Director of National Intelligence in the Trump administration, John Ratcliffe.
But I gave John Durham over 1,000 other documents that have not yet been declassified that I know include intelligence that goes specifically to this criminal activity that would be the basis for further indictments.
But former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy says he does not expect major figures to be indicted, only those who lied to the special counsel.
Not everything that's a political dirty trick or in the nature of abuse of power is necessarily a violation of the federal law, the federal criminal law, even if it's very serious.
The Durham probe is an embarrassment for some quarters of the media and the Democratic Party who used it to push a false narrative about Donald Trump for years. But House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff is not apologizing.
Let's not use that as a smokescreen to somehow shield Donald Trump's culpability for inviting Russia to help them in the election, which they did.
A name that shows up in the Sussmann indictment is White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, who was a policy advisor to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign.
What we're seeing now is this multi-layer connection between the Clinton campaign and this scandal. And it seems very clear that Durham believes that this was basically a campaign effort to dupe the FBI, and the FBI fell for it.
And Turley indicates more indictments are likely. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, it's absolutely a national disgrace, and here you have the Steele dossier. It was the main document that led to the appointment of a special prosecutor, Mueller, all of the administration aides, everyone in the White House being forced to hire their own personal lawyer in order to defend themselves and make sure everything they're saying is absolutely accurate. And then 2 years of a national nightmare. How many news reports were there that gave credibility to this? But the fingers also go back to the FBI, not just to the Clinton campaign, but what about Comey? What about his being duped and then going through this whole special prosecutor? Why didn't the FBI come forward and say, this is all completely made up? Now, if they were lied to, that's another thing, and we'll see more indictments, but you would think the FBI would be able to determine if a presidential campaign reached out to the Kremlin for assistance in an election. And for this to drag on as long as it did, and then here we are years later, an impeachment later, it's just absolutely mind-boggling. History is not going to be kind to the Congress. History is not going to be kind to the FBI. History is not going to be kind to our election politics. This is a national